first one that comes to mind is I did a Grammy showcase little set, and Narada Michael Walden, who's a top producer, he's done tons of hit records. He came running backstage after our set and he proclaimed and screamed, "Bray, you are a star." And he came and kissed me on the lips and took his arm around me and pointed to everyone in the room. He goes, "You guys watch, this kid is going to be big." So having a hero do that, and just plus the whole smooch, was like unforgettable. I played a showcase called San Francisco Legends Past, Present, and Future. Past, Present, and Future. So I didn't realize, but on the side of the stage was Prince's keyboard player and right-hand man, Dr. Fink, watching the whole show. And I knew he was in the building and was sitting in with a different act at the time. And when I got off stage, we only did one song, but we just gave it everything. And we go to the side of the stage, and I didn't know how heavy his accent was going to be. And he goes, "Hey, Bray, that was really something. I got to say, you tore the roof off." And it was like, oh my gosh, he's talking to me, he means me. And I got to just get really chummy with him and give him a big hug and tell him what a hero he is to me. I don't know about that, you know, and everything. So that was really cool. Music tends to bypass a lot of what clouds our communication with each other in other forms, you know, speaking and so forth. And we just kind of get by a lot of that, and it just transports us right to the inside. You know, there's this saying that what comes from the heart goes to the heart. So I find music, to create really successful music, is from the heart, and it always goes straight there for the listener. And plus, I think it's related to our memory in a similar way as our sense of scent, our sense of smell. And so we're immediately transported to these moments in our lives that were memorable to us. Used to care about. I think it's having a dream. And passion can be related to having a dream, but I think passion, it sort of adds the element of a vision and a focus and like an end goal in mind. And I know this older man who's from the island of Corsica, and he has a saying, "Look, brethren, it's hope make you live," which I agree with. You know, a dream is this hope. It's this reason to go on, and that's what I think music is for me, and a career in music is for me, is this reason to go on, this hope that fuels that dream, which then that dream fuels my purpose. I think the key to success is the same in any format, any industry. And to me, you know, what I've learned is 3 key things that kind of create success in any arena, and they are hard work, support, and authenticity. This is my 3 that I hold on to. The hard work part, pretty obvious. You got to get the 10,000 hours in. And the support part is the team. You know, nobody has achieved anything of the greatest significance without some kind of help from someone. We can't do it ourselves. And a great team just cannot be replaced. And there's nothing like it. But the key thing that I think gets overlooked a lot of times is the authenticity piece, which I also liken it to vulnerability. And I've found that anytime I've felt I was way out on the ledge or naked or whatever it was, but I was being true to myself and being vulnerable, those were when I soared to my highest heights. And when you can have a whole team bonding and being in that space together, that's when it's just limitless. Kind of the same thing I was just talking about with, again, I'll say the vulnerability piece. The hard work gets you to where you have the tools you need, the skills, the talent, but another word for it, and what I think is an essential piece that a team needs, is trust. And that's when you have that, you're bonded, and then you can be free. And when someone is free and they're not self-conscious, that's when you rock. I think the magic of what we're doing with rock and roll team building, it has to do with that vulnerability and going to the space where we're bonding because we've seen each other in these uncomfortable, out of our box situations. And once you have that bond, it's almost like, going out for a drink with someone. You see yourselves outside of that work kind of dry environment perhaps, and then you just sort of never go back once you become bonded on that level. I love this one. Prince, always comes back to Prince, and he's the first one that comes to my mind. He is the epitome of that hard work piece, because he started already as a gifted artist, gifted person, but he worked his whole life to keep getting better and being the best he could be and bringing out the best in the people around him. So I always admired him for that and his drive. The second person that comes to mind is the one that I started to appreciate right in my early adult life, and now is my spirit animal, which is David Bowie. And what I like about Bowie, so many things, but he was fearless to try anything, and everything he did, somehow though, he still was himself. And so that to me was the realizing of your vision and your authenticity. He also kind of had a sense of humor about everything he did, and all my heroes, it turns out, have that piece, that sense of fun and wonder with it, which Bowie for sure had. And I think it lives on in all the people that love him. But that dream, when I talk about the dream, it brings me to my third person, which is Salvador Dali. I think his work looks and feels like a dream, and he was so singular in his style, which is again that piece of being true to yourself and just being brave enough to let your voice be what it is, what is the truth to you. Because his stuff was pretty disturbing at times, but he stuck to it and he was himself, and he just, his individuality I thought was inspiring and a fun person to just have in the world. I loved it that he also tried, just like Bowie, tried a lot of different things, and he didn't stick with just painting. He did sculpture and a ton of other things. So I love that curiosity too. And so again, with the sense of humor thing, this fourth person I want to mention has been important to me my whole life, and they're so multi-dimensional and underrated, and this person's name is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, of course, he is ball-bouncingly hilarious, but he also is fearless and has many dimensions to him, with all like the serious roles he's done, and even now in his life, how he's like, I recently watched a university commencement address that he did, and he just blew my mind with his just spiritual generosity, and him, just being so down to earth and kind of cutting away all the BS, which you might think, if you'd just seen Ace Ventura only, you think how that comes out of him, but he's a really complex guy, and he also paints. And if anyone's following kind of what he does lately, he's just really kind of outspoken about the state of things, and it's turned some people off. He's really off the wall, but I think it's really brave and really real, and I just love him to death. But that authenticity thing, it's like a big thread through what matters to me. And I'm going to take a chance to say who my fifth person is. It's Kieran Gribben. And it gets me emotional to talk about it because he has a piece that I don't think a lot of people do, which is kindness. And it's powerful when, you know, his way of being, it really affects his team and the people around him. And I'm just not surprised at how far he's gotten in his life and how everyone that he comes in contact with just love him. And so I'm pretty honored to be a part of this with you guys.
I guess I'm changing.